coconut cream. Let's go ahead and see what this puppy tastes like. Nice and ripe looking. Very juicy. Right off the bat, it smells like straight up coconut. Now, if you're familiar with coconut flavored mangoes, you already know this. But if you're not, I liken the smell of a coconut flavored mango to the smell of like a coconut scented suntan lotion when you're at the pool or the beach. That smell is what the coconut flavor shows up as in a mango, in my opinion, and a few other people as well. But it's a little bit soft in the middle. I wouldn't say overripe, but just a little bit broken down. So let's see what it tastes like. Very coconutty. Very soft flesh. Extremely juicy. Is it the most coconutty? No, but very coconutty indeed. I would say I still think M4 is probably a little bit more coconutty than this, but this is very pleasant. It doesn't have any acid at this point. If you cut into coconut cream a little bit earlier, you'll get a little bit more acid and like some slight citrus notes. I actually prefer it that way, but it's hard to get right. Like, see how this mango is still a little bit green? It was already kind of breaking down internally. Actually a little bit overripe right here. This mango to me is one of the harder mangoes to get right as far as like figuring out when to pick it, but don't get me wrong, it's still delicious right now. The sweetness is probably like a just below like an 8 out of 10, I would say. I'm actually gonna compare it to my sweetness scale to a Brix, so you can see it's zeroed out. So I'm gonna guess if I'm giving it an 8 out of 10, this is probably like in the low to mid 20s would be my guess. So let's see. Interesting. All right, so this is giving it a 18.7. I would have thought it was a little bit higher than that, but Brix is a direct measurement of the sugar content in the liquid by percentage, so that doesn't always translate perfectly to what you might taste. I mean, it does a pretty good job, but if you had a fruit that was marking in the 30s, you're gonna know, like, you're gonna taste it. It's gonna be extremely sweet, but a few points here and there can be also like pretty highly affected by the the pH of the fruit and a few other components. So yeah, it's definitely coconutty. Not much else going on. I would say it's maybe a little bit of a mild flavored mango, you know, extremely juicy. But let's see what this other side tastes like. It's a little bit greener on this side, so we'll see if it's different. I actually have another coconut cream inside that I thought wasn't ready yet that I might actually try cutting for you guys just to compare. But I'm gonna get another bricks measurement here. And obviously this isn't scientific, guys. I'm not going in there and cleaning this out. I did clean it before using it, but this is the same fruit, so it shouldn't really matter. So this one came in at 17.2. Again, lower than I would have expected. The sweetness definitely seems higher to me. The flavor is really pleasant. Kind of reminds me of, like, you guys have ever had a coconut flan? Reminds me of that. Very pleasant flavor. Let me go inside and get that other coconut cream, and we'll compare the flavor of it to this one. Whoops. Sorry, guys. I don't do any editing, so you guys are gonna have to bear with me here. Okay, so here's that other coconut cream. And in my opinion, this one is just slightly greener. So let's go ahead and cut into it and see if it's any different. I would say this one's like maybe a day or a half a day behind that other one. Actually, look, it's just as broken down inside, if not more. That's what I'm saying. This is a tricky mango. I cut into one of these on a mango talk that I did last week, and it was a little bit greener than these, and the mango was still green inside, like it was still a little bit crunchy. So I guess I mean, it could just be me, you know, but okay. Just as sweet. It actually feels a little bit more broken down. Yeah, there's no doubt that they named this mango appropriately. Coconut cream, it's incredibly coconut creamy. Coconut cream pie is not far off when you get this mango at the right stage. It's very, like, the flavor is very mild. Not mild, but it's not sharp, you know, because it kind of loses its citrus. And when it does, when it loses its citrus notes and it's just coconutty, it's very creamy, like, it's very, like, coconut cream, like. Then I get another bricks measurement here on this one. $17.5, so right in line with the other one. Yeah, that's good. All right, you guys have been watching me for 10 minutes. Should I cut into that other half just to see? I think I should. Let's see. It's very, very juicy. A little bit of fiber, not a lot. The skin is almost tasteless. You can easily eat it with the skin. It obviously has a bit of more texture to it, but it doesn't really have any sort of flavor. This reminds me a lot of Gary internally. Like Gary will do this too, where you think it's perfect ripe and it's a little bit broken down on the inside, and that could be a nutritional thing too sometimes, or it could have to do with when you pick the mango. So I was talking to an expert the other day, and he was telling me that for the most part, almost every mango is better picked mature green. And this is a person that I trust. And he was telling me one of the reasons is because you'll get internal breakdown like that if you wait too long for it too long on the tree. Now it doesn't just mean just green. Like he was saying, it's very difficult to figure out when that is. And in his opinion, he was saying maybe like 5 days before you think that mango is going to start turning colors is the perfect time to pick it. So obviously, physiologically, the mango is going to be mature, so it's going to have all the indications of being at the right picking stage, like maybe a brown stem, or maybe fullness at the shoulders, or you're obviously judging it by other mangoes on the tree. So it's gonna have all the indicators, but it's not gonna have turned colors yet. And maybe you're seeing 1 or 2 mangoes that are already turned color, so it's giving you an indication that it might be closer to that time as well. But he said that if you can get it like about 5 days before it changes colors, and you pick it and you let it ripen, and he said the optimal temperature was 83 degrees with a little bit of wind blowing on it. He said that's when you'll get the best mango. So although the notion of mangoes picked green is correct, or mangoes picked green are better than mangoes picked when they change color on the tree, is probably correct. It doesn't necessarily mean that every green picked mango is going to be better, because it's very hard to get it at that right stage. If you get it too early, it's going to be worse probably than if you let it start to blush on the tree. So anyways, that was coconut cream. I'll give coconut cream a 8.2. I really like the coconut flavor a lot. It wasn't super sweet, it wasn't super complex, but the flavor profile is really nice. All right, y'all, bye.